Have you ever had that feeling? You've got all these amazing ideas buzzing around in your head, but actually making them happen? Well, that's another story. Today, we're going to walk through a really practical guide to closing that gap and turning all that creative potential into real-world results.
Let's start right here with this question, because honestly, this is the heart of it all. This is about completely reframing how we look at problems. They're not roadblocks, they're not stopping you, they are the starting line for innovation. So, where do we possibly begin? Well, it all starts with what's going on inside. Before any strategy, before any action plan, you've got to build the right internal engine. You've got to ignite that creative mindset.
And why is this so critical? I mean, why bother? Because this mindset is the foundation for literally everything else. It's what lets you look at the same old challenge everyone else sees and find a totally new way forward. It's what fuels your curiosity and makes getting better just part of what you do. Okay, check out the difference here. Fixed thinking hits a wall and just stops. Game over. But creative thinking, it sees that same wall and thinks, interesting puzzle. How do I get around this? It's a huge shift from trying to avoid failure at all costs to actively looking for the lessons hidden inside of it. So, how do you actually start building this muscle? Here are 3 super simple things you can do, like today. First, just start questioning the way things are always done. Second, grab a notebook and just jot down ideas. No filter, no judgment. And third, go do something new. Step outside your normal routine. Trust me, even taking a different route to work can be enough to spark a new idea. All right, so once you've got that creative mindset humming along, the next step is to actually apply it. This is where we go from just thinking differently to doing differently. This is where we turn problems into actual opportunities. And this is so important. Problems are not things you should try to avoid. They're actually raw material. Think about it. Every single challenge your team faces is really just a disguised opportunity to get smarter, to get more efficient, and to innovate. But what about those huge, overwhelming problems? You know the ones I'm talking about. Well, here's the secret. You don't tackle it all at once. You break it down. This simple method right here takes all the fear out of it. First, just slice that big problem into little bite-sized pieces. Then put on your detective hat and find the real root cause, not just the surface level stuff. And finally, you just weigh your options and take action. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're getting a ton of customer complaints. Sure, you could just answer each one by one, or you could dig in and find out why they're complaining in the first place. Fix that core issue, and suddenly you've stopped future complaints from ever happening. See? You just turned a problem into a permanent improvement. Now that we've got the right mindset and we're seeing problems in a new light, it's time for the really fun part, taking action. This whole phase is about one thing, experimentation. It's about trying stuff, testing ideas, and being totally okay with getting it wrong. And you gotta remember this. Real innovation hardly ever comes from a perfect plan. No, it comes from a messy, chaotic cycle of doing, testing, and learning. You build momentum through action, not through endless analysis. I just love this quote because it completely flips the script on how we think about failure. It's not the end of the road. It's not some final judgment on you. It's just data. It's a signpost pointing you toward what you should try next. And that leads us to this really powerful concept of failing forward. It's an active thing. When an experiment doesn't work out, you don't just throw it in the trash. No, you dissect it. You pull out the lesson. You use that setback as a launch pad for your next attempt. So how can you and your team actually start doing this? Well, make why and what if your 2 favorite questions. And hey, don't bet the entire company on a brand new idea. Just run a small, cheap test first. Most importantly, you have to create a space where sharing a half-baked idea is actually a good thing, not something to be afraid of. Okay, let's talk execution. This is where the rubber meets the road. We've got the mindset, we're willing to experiment, but how do we actually bridge that huge gap between a cool idea and a successful launch? You know, here's a fundamental truth about innovation. An idea, no matter how brilliant it is completely worthless if it just stays scribbled in a notebook. The real magic only happens when that creativity gets paired up with disciplined, focused action. This timeline is a simple but super powerful roadmap. So you start with the fun stuff, generating a bunch of ideas. But then comes the really critical part. You have to prioritize. You've got to ask which of these ideas will have the biggest impact,
and which one can we actually do right now? From there, you build a real plan with steps and deadlines. Then you launch and you watch what happens.
And this brings us right around to the final piece of the puzzle. And you know what? It might just be the most important. The process doesn't just stop at launch. We have to close the loop. We have to feed everything we just learned right back into the system.
Just think of this as the feedback loop that fuels the entire creative engine. It doesn't matter if a project was a massive success or a total disaster. Either way, it is packed with valuable data. This is how you make sure that you get a little bit smarter and a little more effective with every single cycle. Let's just imagine a common scenario. A project totally bombs, it just doesn't meet any of its goals. The easy reaction is to get disappointed, maybe even start pointing fingers. But a creative mindset, it sees a free lesson in how to plan better next time.
And here's exactly how you do that. Systematically. First, you have a blame-free post-mortem. What did we learn? Second, you take those lessons and you actually change your process. You make real adjustments. And third, and this is a big one, don't forget to celebrate the small wins along the way. That's what keeps the energy and motivation high for the next round. So that's the whole cycle: mindset, problem solving, experimentation, action, and learning. It's a continuous wheel of innovation. And now the only question left is, when you look at the challenges and opportunities right in front of you, how are you going to give that wheel a spin?